2 Timothy chapter number 1, verse 7.
When we get there, just say amen.
Amen? We're there.
2 Timothy chapter number 2, chapter number 1, verse number 7. Amen. Amen. All right. Gloria a Dios, en este día yo pido para usted. Second Timothy chapter number 1, verse number 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a
Sound mind.
Everyone say sound mind.
Sound mind.
Lord, we thank you. We thank you for your goodness. We pray that you help us here in the next few minutes. In Jesus' name. Amen. You may be seated. Now go with me to 2 Philippians.
To Philippians.
Philippians, not second.
Philippians.
On my notes it says one scripture and then second scripture. Amen. Philippians chapter number 2. If you're there, chapter 2, verse 12.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. 2 Timothy, I mean.
Says, chapter 2 and verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear
And trembling.
Amen. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. I asked Brother Wally to help me out with something, and Brother Josiah can help as well. I want you to pass these out to me if you could. And everyone would have one. I think I have enough.
I got one, brother.
You're not going to have a clue as to why I'm giving this to you yet. Amen. Jesus' name. That is all. Hallelujah. Jesus' name. The fairies recently received.
Amen.
Well, does everybody have that?
Yes, amen.
I felt very compelled this morning to talk for a little while about coloring inside the lines.
Coloring inside the lines. Whew.
Coloring inside the lines.
Amen.
And, we're very compelled that whenever you pastor a church, whenever you're engaged in the work of ministry, whenever you are working in the things of God, that whatever happens, in whatever circumstances take place in your life, that is for a purpose. Amen. It's for a purpose. It has a will attached to it. When you are in God's kingdom, every step that you take is ordered by the Lord. Amen. Amen. Everywhere that you go when you're in God's kingdom is sequentially ordered by God's purpose as you walk according to His will. So everywhere you go and whatever it is that you do, much like us being in Marshall's on Friday night, the timing of being in there, I don't think is a circumstantial situation. I think it's God ordained.
Absolutely.
God aligns things in a way that when we allow ourselves to be used by God, when we come in His kingdom and we allow Him to guide us and to lead us in His way, that everything is by God for a purpose.
Yeah.
And He's guiding us and He's leading us for a reason that is yet to be understood in many cases. Sometimes we don't understand everything that's happening.
That's right.
We don't understand always what happens in between one place to another. Yeah. I remember being with my pastor in the office years ago, and when I was in this office, I had an issue with another brother in the church, and it wasn't an issue that we got in conflict with one another. It was where I felt belittled, if you will, and I personally needed some guidance from my pastor. And I went in there and I said, Pastor, what do I do in this situation? and he said, "Your brother is a big dog
Yeah.
in his life, and he has his business going, and he has these things happening, and you're working for him, and you are in essence subservient to his ways and to his actions." I remember showing up to the job. I was just beginning. I was starting my own business, and my business was tearing off roofs. And I remember going to my brother's house, and he was my boss. And I was a contractor, but yet he was the one that was the primary person that I got my work from. And I remember showing up at his house. I got there at 5 minutes after 7. The time to be there was 7 o'clock, and I was 5 minutes late. And he came up to me, and he pointed his finger at my chest. And he put his finger right here like this. Excuse me for doing this. Right in my chest. And he said, "You will never be late to my house." This is the first time I'd ever been there on that morning. And so, needless to say, I was a little bit intimidated. And at the same time, I was a little bit frustrated. I don't want anybody ever pointing at me. You don't either. All right? Nobody wants that. But he was pointing at me, and he stuck his finger on my chest, and he said, "You will never be late at my house." And he said, "Furthermore, when you look at my trucks, I want my trucks to be just like they are right here, and you will maintain them just as they are." He actually set a pretty high standard for me. But Brother Terry, I was pretty frustrated, to be honest with you. And every day that went by after that, the Lord helped me in my business, and it was growing, and I was gaining a little bit of momentum. But as I was growing, I was using his truck, and I was using his tools, and I was using his property to park the truck on. So I had to maintain myself within his realm of leadership, if you will. But I was still a little bit frustrated. And I was in Pastor's office, and Pastor said to me, "Brother Steve, he is a big dog, and you're a little puppy, in essence. Your business is growing. But at some point, you're going to be a big dog. And you're going to be a big dog, and he's going to be a big dog. And the two of you are going to respect one another at the level that you're at." And it was a revelation to me. It helped me understand some things. It helped me understand that as I was in that setting, I was growing as a business, and I was growing as in leadership, if you will. But at the same time, I was in somebody else's frame.
Yeah.
I was within somebody else's lines of my life. And I could push out of those lines. I could get up and I could say, "Well, man, who are you? You can't tell me. Get your finger out of my chest.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do."
Come on.
And then the next day I would be without a job.
Yeah.
Okay? The next day I would not have money for my family. And the next day I wouldn't have money for the insurance on a truck or a car. And the next day I would be looking for something to do. So I had to measure my response based upon the issuance of somebody else's control over my life.
Yeah.
You follow me? And so it was a revelation to me, and it helped to guide my understanding on some things, and ultimately I did become a big dog. And I don't mean that from a hierarchical perspective, where I'm in control and I'm all that in a bag of chips. What I mean is that I was in business by myself, and I had my own truck. The interesting thing is my truck was a 56 Chevy dump truck, and David, the doors would fall off when you opened it. But it was my truck.
Yeah.
Right? And it wasn't like his truck, and it did dump. Even though when you dumped it, it was like barely able to dump the stuff out. And you pull up the job, the door would fall off. But it was my truck. And I was able to build on that. And I did. I sold it and then bought another truck. And I bought a trailer, and I was able to grow. And ultimately, I separated myself from him, and I became a subcontractor of him, but of others as well. And I had respect in that situation, but I was framed within a certain line, if you will.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And I was walking within that realm, but I had to understand with patience as I was growing that I was not being limited by somebody else.
Yeah.
Somebody else was not limiting me. That my perspective would have easily been, when you point your finger at me, that you're limiting me. But ultimately, God was placing him in my life to guide my footsteps.
Yeah.
I had to align myself, Brother Wim.
Yeah.
I had to get my flesh kind of
aligned a little bit. You know, where you just kind of cringe when somebody does that, and you're just like, man, you just want to get up right in their face and just like, ugh. But at the same time, I was backing off a little bit. And I said, okay, God, let's just wait and see what happens here. And let's let this unfold and grow according to your will. And as time would unfold, that became a reality where I was my own business. Ultimately to the point where he wanted to buy my business.
Yeah.
Actually met me to purchase my business. So that if you follow and wait on God for a little while, ultimately things will start to unfold.
Yeah.
And God will start to reveal his purpose
Yeah.
in your life.
Yep.
Amen. I read a little, I want to read something to you. It's a little bit heady, a little bit over, it's over my head. It may not be over some of you, but it definitely was over mine. I read it several times. This is my pastor writing this. He wrote a book, that Pentecostal Theology, which we'll make available to you. But this is what he wrote in one of his chapters. In humans, which is all of us, as in all things, only as the invisible is resident in the visible is their ability to share itself in community with the remainder of the actualized universe. That's pretty deep. Having being, which is human being, requires disclosure of self into existence. Emerging from potential, this is all what he said, and courageously moving toward becoming. Emerging from, coming out from potential. All right? Emerging from potential and courageously moving toward becoming. So there's a movement that takes place. Right. There's action, as we talked about this the other day. Action begets inspiration. When you move, something happens. There's inspiration that comes out of that. You move. And many songwriters have written songs because of either sorrow, death, or situations that have taken place in their life. Out of that particular situation, they moved into meaning to whatever it was that took place. And God gave them inspiration. A lot of the songs that you hear sung are because people have come out of a certain situation.
Yeah.
Amazing Grace was one of those. Amazing Grace was one of those songs was being written because there was a situation where the writer recognized the amazing grace of God has been bestowed on his life. Amen. And so when you have these situations, you emerge. This is what he's saying here. Emerging from potential and courageously moving toward becoming. Human life is a perpetual tension. There's this tension. We've talked about this. Where it's like you're in that tug of war, like we did at Memorial Day picnic. There's tension that's